Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's podcast. We have some very special guests who are teaching classes at Arts Bonita in the mindfulness realm, which is something that is very new to Arts Bonita. When I started last year, Aliona told me that she wanted to get something like this together, so we got some people together. We met, we came up with some ideas. I met a few people who are here today just in talking about offerings. And so we're really going to dive into mindfulness at Arts Bonita. We're going to dive into the specific offerings that we have here, and we're going to meet these wonderful ladies and learn about what they do and what they're bringing to Arts Bonita. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it this way, and I would like each person to introduce themselves and to talk a little bit about how they got into mindfulness, like when were you first exposed to it, and then and maybe what you're going to be teaching at Arts Bonita. I don't know if that's a lot of things, but we're going to try to do all those things. Say who you are, say how you got involved in mindfulness, and then talk about the stuff you're doing at Arts Bonita. And if we miss anything along the way, we'll double back. Sound good?
Sure.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm Beth Schroeder, and I started with mindfulness about 30 years ago with a master called Thich Nhat Hanh. And we were in Chicago. It was really something I had been looking for. I had studied Zen. I had done a lot of kind of self-help things, but this really clicked. I'm a studio artist as well, and I realized that when I was in my studio, I was falling into a path of mindfulness naturally. So the creative process is naturally a mindfulness one. And so what I'm trying to do with the Bonita Arts classes that I'll be teaching is to bring mindfulness into your creative path. You don't have to be an artist, although for those who are creatively involved in a studio, that's great. But what we'll be focusing on is, where is your creative voice? What is your true voice, and how do you arrive there? And so we'll be doing some experimenting. I'll be guiding people. I've been trained by the Florida Community of Mindfulness, but I have a degree in fine art, and so I have a lot of experience with materials. So materials are not important. You can bring the materials that you connect with the best into the class. And so hopefully what I have discovered in my own experience and through many classes over the last 30 years of creating with mindfulness, we'll be able to have a lot of fun and a lot of adventure in finding out what your creative voice is.
Wow. Well, in my experience as being a teacher in this world at times, which I have done, if you were my student and I said, do these three things, and you executed them to the level that you just did, I would have given you an A+. So good job. You did everything I asked you to do. Let's see if Danielle can follow that up and do the same. Go ahead, Danielle.
I don't know. That was really hard because, Beth, that sounds amazing. And Thich Nhat Hanh, I'm jealous. That is impressive and amazing. Wow, Thich Nhat Hanh's my gosh, a master for sure. Okay, so my mindfulness journey, I would say sort of officially, there's sort of the non-official way it started and then the official way it started. But I would say sort of officially, about 7 years ago, I had trained with David G. and did his, I think it was a 9-month program, Masters of Wisdom and Meditation, and so that really got me on the path of working with meditation. Now, I've always been a theater person, an acting person since I was a kid, professionally, was an agent, did movies, all that sort of thing. And so to Beth's point, there's so many different doors that lead to the same room, right? So mindfulness, creativity, they go hand in hand, as we all know. And so there were a lot of things I picked up along the way through that journey, right? Since my early 20s and late teens of meditation and creativity. But I will say going through the meditation training was really, really big because I am a professional channel by nature, and I work a lot with the angelic realm. I work a lot with the unseen realm. And so for me, mindfulness is about, so much of it is about intuition, right? And there are so many doors that lead to the same room. And so for me, it's always about finding those paths to higher consciousness, opening that intuitive, experience to where you're really receiving information, whether like you were sharing earlier, I don't think this was on camera, but she was sharing her morning process and how you go into the garden and you connect with what's growing and what's not growing, which I thought was beautiful, because that's sort of what I live for. That's everything I do is toward that. So for me, it was years of training with meditation, but not only that, working in the psychic realm, studying energy healing, all sorts of modalities, traveling around the world and studying with different people. So that brings me to your next question, which is, what am I doing here specifically at Arts Bonita? Okay, so I have a few fun things coming up, a couple one-night events. One is Sip, Shuffle, and Connect, and doesn't that sound fun? So it's actually, you're going to be sipping wine while you're shuffling angel cards, and you're connecting with the angelic realm, but also with your higher guidance, with your intuition, and also with everybody else in the room. So it's super interactive, it's super fun. I have found that in all the professional work that I do, like I said, I do this full time, is people always want to connect. They always are looking for that connection with the higher realm, with their higher consciousness, with the angels. I find people are so interested in that angelic realm, and I was the same way, especially in the beginning, right? And so this is a beautiful gateway. I find that angel cards, do either of you guys do angel cards or no angel cards? Yeah? Do you like to do them?
Oh, yes, I
right?
love it.
Yeah. So I find that it's such a great gateway for people, because when you have that interest, but you don't quite trust the messages coming through, because either you haven't been taught how the other side connects to you, or you just don't trust it, right? Like, how do I know that voice I'm hearing isn't just my voice? Or how do I know that that image I saw in my head wasn't just something I made up, right? So what I love about the angel cards is it gives you a really nice way to connect and to receive messages and to know you're the one that picked that card, right? You picked it. Your energy picked that card with that message. So how can that message not be for you, right? So I like to do it in a very fun way where there's not a lot of pressure, because just like pressure kills creativity, pressure also hinders your intuition, right? Being able to play. So I'm really excited about that class, as you can tell. So that's Sip, Shuffle, and Connect. And then I have a few angelic Reiki certification courses coming up here, which I teach all over. I teach them in Canada. I'm going to Taiwan at the end of this year to teach a couple workshops there. But I'm very happy to be able to teach a couple here in Southwest Florida. So that's really, really fun. And that is for people who want to work with the angelic realm, but also specifically would like to incorporate it into their offerings. So especially people who are professionals who do energy healing work. Maybe they're already Usui Reiki masters or do something else, and this is another tool in their tool belt, but it is an amazing modality. Like, I can't say enough about it. I learned it in the UK and was so excited to bring it to the United States. So I think that's what's coming up. I think I have one more thing coming in January.
Yeah, another one-night event, I believe, yeah.
That's going to be an automatic writing workshop. So again, everything I do is about connecting to the other side, connecting to higher consciousness, to the divine. And the way I do it, and the way I learned how to do it in my early 20s, was through taking a piece of paper, asking a question to, say, your angels, and then receiving the response. And it comes through you, and your hand just starts writing on the paper. And then when you read it back, you're amazed at what came through, because it's not you. So a lot of times I get people that I work with and go, can you teach me how to do that? And so finally, I am going to be offering just a one-night event. It's going to be a lot of fun that's meant to teach people how to do that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, are you going to do it? Oh,
Yeah,
I'm glad.
definitely.
Gail, no pressure, but Danielle got an A+ too. Okay, so
So intimidated. I feel like I'm in like the presence of greatness with you two. I'm trying to think where I started. So I've always done yoga, and I've been painting for about 25 years. And I love abstract art, and for me, it's very intuitive and meditative. And I'll dip a little bit into my story because it kind of explains where I came up with my workshops.
Gail, can you move your mic just a little bit closer and just like that? Perfect. Thank you.
Is that okay?
Yep, that's perfect.
So I've always done these things, and I've always, had these mindful practices. But in 2019, I went through a very dark time in my life. I had all of these awful things happen. Like my husband left, I lost my job, and my dad passed away. And then we had the pandemic. So I was, all of a sudden living on my own for the first time in 20 years. And I was very sad, obviously. And there was like grief on top of grief. And then I realized that when I'm unhappy, I don't create. Like it was, and my paintings are always, they're very bright, they're very happy and stuff. And so I took this 6 feet canvas and I put it on the wall in the living room, and I got a can of black paint and I wrote all my feelings on this canvas. And it was like the ugliest piece of anything. But then what happened over time is, as I started healing and going through my process and stuff, this painting got brighter and happier. And by the time I'd finished it, it's like my favorite painting. Like, I love this painting so much. And there's so many, it's abstract, but there's so many things in there. There's like a staircase where I'm like crawling my way out of this depression, right? And there's, you can see like an image of a man. It's like my dad is looking down on me. And there's a girl with a balloon and a heart. The balloon's a heart-shaped, like I'm flying off into my new life. And it's just like this very amazing emotional piece of artwork. But what I realized was, as I was going through this process, is like we all have these sad times. It's life, like bad stuff happens, and for people that are not creative, that have never picked up a paintbrush, like they're missing out on so much, because creativity, it reduces depression and anxiety, and it distracts you from all of the bad stuff that's going on in your life, whether it's emotional or physical pain, and it just brings so much joy. And I kind of wanted to be able to take this process and package it up in a very easy to understand way so that people who are not creative can use it and help them heal and grow. And just sometimes it's just about coming to a class for 3 hours and leaving all of the stuff outside the room and just having an open mind and just doing something different, and I see people like flow out of the workshops because they've learned something new, and and it's just been fun, and you're like channeling your inner 5-year-old and cutting pictures out of magazines and doing collage or whatever. So that's kind of why I put these programs together that I offer. And I have so many stories about people that have taken them. It's just like, it brings me joy to be able to give this gift to people, So I have a couple of offerings coming up this season. One is Manifesting Your Best Life. And that is, it's all about just kind of, I have all of these exercises that I do. So you start with a meditation just to kind of come into yourself and park all the bad stuff outside the door. And then I do an exercise to shift people from their left brain to their right brain. And, it's like anything like a scribble drawing, like just draw your feelings, use your left hand and, use a crayon or use something awkward and heavy and just draw it. And so that kind of gets everybody out of their heads, And then there's an exercise that we go through that looks at different aspects of people's lives. So it's relationships, home life, work, that kind of stuff. And that helps you kind of map the areas that you want to focus on over the next year or so. And then you build a vision board. And that can be collage or paint or whatever tools people want to use. I don't care. Paint with your fingers, whatever. As long as they're having fun, it doesn't matter, you know. And then the other one I'm doing is creative journaling. So I have like journals all over my house, and I take notes and I draw pictures and stuff. And it's just, even if you just spend like 5 minutes a day doodling, you know, it's just very, I don't know. It just clears my mind and just makes me happy, you know. And so I wanted people to be able to experience that. So everybody gets a journal, and then we decorate it and personalize it. So you can paint or draw or collage, whatever. And then I have these cards that have these journal prompts, you know. And it can be anything from, one of them is like, draw a sun with rays. So you have all these rays coming out, and then each ray you have to write something about yourself, something positive about yourself, you know. So, you know, I'm brave, I'm fearless, I'm beautiful, whatever, you know. And so that gives you this like feeling, and it helps the people like boost your confidence and make you feel beautiful. And so there's all these different prompts that we do. So I'm super excited to offer those. Sorry, I get so excited.
No, you did good.
Stop
Let me just check your score. Let's see. You did, Gail, you got an A+.
Yes,
You did fine. What I love about all the things that you guys offer is that they kind of are for everyone. You know, regardless of like, if you're interested in stone carving, or you're a painter, or you do watercolor, or you do figure drawing, whatever it is that you do, even just for our traditional artists community, our members that come here and take all of our wonderful classes, these are things that, like, these are great practice things that you should be participating in and working on and doing, just because it's going to be helpful to you. So my question to each of you is this: who out there needs what it is that you're doing? Like, who's a great candidate that really should be looking for the stuff that each of you are going to offer? And I know there's a lot of different ways to answer this question. You could really break it down, but I'm just wondering, just what's first thing that comes to mind of who out there needs what it is that you're offering?
There isn't really a person. I think that everyone is creative. And so if you want to light up your life, and you feel like there's been saboteurs to your creativity, whatever that voice has been in your life, and you feel stuck, I think that is, you need some playtime. You need some time to really be safe and try out new things. And so that's for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, there isn't a
I agree.
specific, And so, thank God, there's the Bonita Visual Arts Center, because this is a place that now is offering mindfulness and these activities that will help you acquire the tools so that you can do those. If you just leave them in the studio, that's not really going to be helpful for you. You need to be able to feel like your life is alive.
Yeah.
And that's where art comes from. So creating art with mindfulness is about lighting up yourself, and then walking out into your life and being excited about it. You know, that what life is an adventure. So how does that happen? So, you know, it's for everyone.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. You guys, you know, you're watching the Arts Bonita podcast. You are watching, or you're listening, or you're doing both. I'm not sure, but you can let me know in the comments. If you haven't done it already, you should share this podcast with other people. You can wait till the end if you want. Make sure that it resonates with you, and then go ahead and share it out to the world. But definitely like it, comment, things like that. Subscribe if you haven't done that. Danielle, what about for you? Who needs what you're offering?
Well, everything that Beth just said, right? And we were both
Yeah.
going, yes. I think also anyone who's looking for community and connection, because art isn't necessarily always accessed in a vacuum, right? Like, one of the beautiful things about art, and I am going to apply it to what I teach as well, because I'm not a traditional artist, right? But it's a creative, collaborative process a lot of times. We get our inspiration from sometimes other people, from the person who's doodling next to you or just enjoying their, oh my God, I've got my sun with the rays and my affirmations and let me share it. And that breeds excitement and enthusiasm and safety. You said a word that I loved, like people feeling safe, that they have a container for this. And that resonated a lot with me because I would say people who might be interested in sort of these offerings that I'm bringing from a different perspective, right? From the channeling, it's really think of opening your intuition. It's like heightening your intuition, heightening your sensitivity. So we have our physical senses, but then we have our spiritual senses, right? We have our intuition. We all have those aha moments. Where did those come from? When sometimes we suddenly do a meditation and unlock the answer to something that we've been stewing on for a long time, and where did that inspiration or answer or higher wisdom just come from, right? And I think that the thing that I would say is for anyone looking to heighten their sensitivity, to heighten the sense of community, and also to know that they're not alone through this process, right? I think that's what I love to bring to the table through this type of work on this side of it. But yes, the safety, the container, having a container to play, to be creative, to do it through creativity. I was laughing because when you were talking about the journaling exercises, it's similar with the automatic writing. I say, now put the pen in your left hand.
Yes, right.
And it's hard, and it takes
is
like
hard.
forever to get like a sentence out. But it shifts your brain because you're trying to get out of this and get here, right? So yeah, I would say everybody, all are welcome in art and love and healing and all the things. So yeah, I would definitely say for everybody. What about for you?
Same. Same. Anybody. Yeah. I think, they just need to be open-minded and just like want to learn something new.
Right.
I've had a lot of women, mostly women, a lot of middle-aged women that are kind of looking for something, their lives have shifted, the kids have gone, I've had older couples, I've had families, and I had even one guy came with his girlfriend and he had never done anything artistic and he was so nervous, he was adorable. And anyway, he did a painting. She did a vision board and he did a painting and he was like, oh, it's not very good. I go, oh my God, it's gorgeous. Like it was vibrant, all these colors and stuff. And she texted me 3 months later and said he'd framed it and put it up in the house. And that was just like, how lovely is that, So I just really think it's for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Well, I agree. I do think it is for everybody. I think, just like I always say to you out there listening, watching, whatever, everybody needs a creative outlet and everybody needs to have space to be able to grow and experience things. And so I think that Arts Bonita is a great place to be able to do that. And we're always expanding here. And one of the biggest expansions is this expansion into mindfulness. I know that we're going to be having an event toward the end of the year where we're going to be inviting people to the center to be talking about and especially like these types of things that you guys have that you're offering. And we're going to be doing a big push because we want to build this community. And I can't think of better people to be involved with to be doing this. So I want to thank you all for coming in today and sharing your thoughts and sharing your experiences, sharing what you're going to be offering at Arts Bonita. And I'm just going to encourage all of you, you got to go to artsbonita.org. You got to take a look at the offerings and you will go to the mindfulness page. So if you're looking for adult education, go to adult education, go to mindfulness, and you're going to see these events there. The one-night events we are talking about, you've got to go to one-night events. And you'll be able to find them. There's also advanced search functions on the website, so you can type in any of their names, which you will have been seeing at the bottom of the podcast the whole time it's been on, and you can see their specific offerings. So if anybody wants anything, just call, sign up, do it online, but it goes fast. Space goes real quick. People sign up for things months in advance. So if you haven't gotten involved in the mindfulness game, You probably have, you just don't know it yet. But if you want some professionals to work with to help expand that for you, then take some time, look at those offerings, and get signed up. So thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it was
It's
Thank
fun
you, guys.
having us.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the end of the Arts Bonita podcast for today. I hope everybody is having a good time, and we will talk to you soon.